Now we discuss the NP control charts. So in the NP control charts, instead of taking the fraction of non-conforming items, we simply take the number of non-conforming items. So the control chart on the number non-conforming rather than fraction non-conforming. So it is easier than the P chart, because in this case we are not calculating the fraction. So it is called a number non-conforming NP chart. The remaining process are identical, so we have to calculate. In the previous case we are taking the value of P. Here we take the NP because we are not calculating the fraction defective, so we take the value NP plus 3 square root of NP 1 minus P. The central line is NP. The lower control limit is NP minus 3 square root of NP 1 minus P, because here we are not taking the fraction defectives, so there is no denominators. So if the standard value of P is not given, then P bar can be used to estimate the value of P. So we understand the NP control charts with the help of these examples. The data we are taken similar to the question number first. So we already calculate the value of P bar, that is 0.2313. N is the 50. That means in every samples we have to collect the 50 case. So N is equal to 50. So with the help of these two values, we calculate the upper control limit, central line and the lower control limits. So with the help of these three, we draw the charts similarly as we draw in a P chart. So here if the 20 units are not conforming, the process is in control, but it is 21 is a non-conforming the process. Here when we calculate the UCL, the value comes the 20.510. So we take the integer values, and here the 2.620, then we take the value of is 2. That means if anything beyond these two, then we can say that the process is out of control. So here if the 20 units are not non-conforming, the process is in controls, but if it is a 21 is non-conforming, then process is not in controls. So in this way we are drawing the NP chart. That means if we compare the P and NP charts, the only difference in the P and NP chart is, in the P chart, whatever the defective comes in the samples, first we have to find out the fraction. That means the number of defective divided by the number of the products taken in a particular samples. Whereas in this case we are not calculating the fractions, and the remaining part are identical in both the charts. The purpose of the P charts, because of the lower inspection cost of P charts, because in the P charts we have only two options: either we confirm the product, or if the product qualities which we inspect are not up to the mark, then we can say the product is not accepted. So they usually have a greater area of economical applications. So do the control chart for variables. So a control chart for fraction defective may have any one or all of the following purposes. So main purpose of the P and NP chart is to discover the average proportion of defective articles submitted for inspections over a period of time. That means we have to take the number of samples and drawing a P charts, then we can discover the average proportion of defective articles. To bring to management attention any change in quantity level, quality level. That means if the number of defectives are larger, that means the capability of firms are not producing the product as needed by the vendors. Then the management should ask the vendors for changing the or modifying the quality level. The third one is the discover, identity and correct causes of the bad quality. So with the help of this chart, we can identify and discover what are the reason behind of getting the bad quality of a product. Discover, identify and correct causes of quality improvements. So when the bad quality is produced by a particular process, then it is the options. We have to take the corrective actions for the quality improvements of a product. To suggest where it is necessary to use X bar and R chart, and to diagnose a quality problem. That means if the number of defectives comes beyond the certain limits, then the inspector can suggest that some of the quality characteristics that are measurable. Again we use the X bar and R chart for a particular operations. So in a sampling inspection of the large lot of purchase articles, the selection of the quality characteristics, the different defects have the unequal influence on cost. Some may be corrected by a simple inexpensive rework, while the other needs the costly rework. So there are two possibilities. When the defectives products comes from a samples, then we have to investigate what are the defect occurs. In some situations, the defects may be corrected with a very little cost, and sometimes the cost to rework are very large. So if we draw the separate control charts on those defects which are reasonable for greater cost. We take the example for a size. How can we decide the sample size in a P chart? So in case of P chart, the sample size must be fairly large, because here in the P and NP charts, either we confirm the product or non-confirms. So the normal distribution will approximate to a sufficient degree. If P is small, N is large enough that there is a good chance of obtaining the defective units in a samples. Otherwise, occurrence of one defective would be the chart out of control. Suppose the standard is a set at 100 P dash is equal to 0.50. That means if we are taking 100 pieces in a particular samples, then the sample size N required to yield an average of just one defective per sample would be 200. That means out of 100, only 0.50 is defective. That means at least when we get one defective, then the sample size should be at least 200. So the N is equal to NP dash over P dash. So this value is 1.0, N is the 200, P dash is the 0.50, 0.50 divided by 100. So the number of sample is selected, or the number of pieces selected in a particular sample, that is 200. A rule of thumb followed in the most industrial application is that the sample size should not be less than 100 for P and NP charts. The choice between P and NP charts, because here we discussed the two type of chart, one is the P chart, another is NP charts. So wherever the subgroup size is a variable control chart, for fraction defective P chart is used. That means if the subgroup size is a variable, that means in sometimes we are taking a sample size and number of product we are selecting in a particular sample may be 50, in another case we are taking 100, in some cases we are taking 75. So in such situations, when the subgroup size are variables, not constant, then generally we use the fraction defective or a P-chart. And when the subgroup size is constant, then we are using the actual number of defective in NP charts. So I conclude this, that when the number of pieces taken in a particular samples or a particular products are vary, then we use the P-chart, because in that case we always calculate the fraction defective, the percentage of defective. If the sample size are constant for all the samples, generally we use the NP chart. The NP chart saves one calculation which I already discussed. For each subgroup, the division of the number of defective by the subgroup to get the fraction defective. So there is one additional step. We have to calculate, we know the number of defectives, then one step needed for P chart, that is we have to calculate the fraction defectives. So some people understands the NP chart more readily. However, to avoid confusion, it would be better to use P chart for the constant subgroup also. That means the NP chart is more simpler to understand in normal populations, because there is no confusion for calculating the fraction defective. Thank you. Thank you. In the next session, we discuss the C chart,